base and in the fan base to have a guy like that. And, if you think about the NFL, or Bill Belichick, for instance, is the ultimate never going to give you anything and sort of just cold shoulder, we're on to Cincinnati, that thing. And I don't think Patriots fans were too upset because they're winning Super Bowls.
There's also, I've heard this argument a bunch of times. I don't want to sit here and only 18 minutes ago show dunked on the guy that there is to 150-something wins.
They're pretty good so far.
But here's the deal. Bill Belichick, Nick Saban, and Bobby Howard are not created equal.
No.
And the way they treated and handled the media is objectively different. Even if Bill Belichick and Nick Saban were old and saying on to Cincinnati or just mumbling through some stuff is a lot different than straight up making the person that asks you a question feel less than.
Yeah.
I'll just leave it at that.
I totally agree with that. But more I'm thinking, too, now, just about the fan bases.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I think it matters. Belichick, he's not a great example at this moment. Okay, fair enough. I couldn't make anybody else right here. We should go with the tuna. We want to help ourselves. Sure, go back to the main piece of this.
Yeah.
But it is different professional to college, but you get guys who are just who they are. You get guys who love to talk, who will tell you everything because that's part of their personality. Other guys who are very close to the vest because that's their personality, because they just think that's the right way to do it, given time and space, whatever. But I do think that when you, especially in a college environment, man, like throw as wide a net, open the doors as wide as you possibly can to bring in as many people as you can. Let the city be represented by the school and vice versa.
Yes.
By the players and vice versa. And we don't know what's going to happen. The Grizzlies could go win a national championship. They could fail to make the playoffs. But you're going to have one shot at this season, and you get these kids who have, a shelf life of time to play college football.
Yeah.
Except for Solomon. He can play, I think, till he's 78. You see how I stuck with the first name there? Okay, I'm still working on
Mr. Tuliapupu is he's more advanced in life than I am.
Yeah.
Even though I'm a full 10 years older than him. That's crazy. I'm only 10 years older than him because I've been out of college for like 18 years. This guy's been in college for half the time.
I think he's on his third PhD.
I would love to know what his transcript looks like for sure. But hey, tell them what they're listening to. Give me a reset.
Okay, it's Tootell Nuanez.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, see, I got it. I'm still working on this. We haven't even gotten to the first bullet point here.
The things I forget about Ryan is that, first of all, he loves to do the whole show before the show even starts. He wants to have the back and forth conversation for half an hour before the segment even starts.
That's right.
That's why I had to leave the studio, go get my coffee. And the other thing is, he would just talk for 45 straight minutes with no breaks and no resets if it was up to him.
I appreciate you talking because I got to take a breath. But all I'm saying is these kids, you only get this year one time.
Indeed.
So be part of the community. Go to the schools. I mean, my kids go to Hellgate Elementary. Eli Gilman was there last year, towards the end of the year. Gave my daughter a hug. She came home.
Greatest day of her life.
Over the moon.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can have that effect on all of these, all the kids, all the fans, all of that stuff by just being present and being available. And I think that's an awesome thing for everybody involved.
Well, great segue into one of the segments you have prepared for us today, and that is that I think that one of the biggest indicators here of the different vibes that exist at the University of Montana was revealed on Friday night. That's your one piece of news from the weekend, and that is that Montana has named their captains. If you remember correctly, Montana did not have captains last year. They named captains on a week-to-week basis. When Bobby Hauck first instituted this model, I thought to myself, that's interesting. Is it a cop-out because you don't want to have a vote to reveal captains? Or is it actually a smart tactic because you have 28 transfers on your team, most of whom have not been around, but some of whom need to be your best players and need to be some of your best leaders? So maybe you just rotate it around because you haven't really had enough time to establish who's going to be the guy. Well, I know that I am old school and elitist in this, but I have always been the type of guy that thinks that with captains, you should straight up just have your best players. Like if I'm making a group of 4 or 5 captains, number one guy I'm picking is my baddest dude on the team. Doesn't matter if he's the best leader. Doesn't even matter if he talks. Baddest dude on our team. Like if you're Montana State, Titan Fleischman's got to be one of your captains.
Get off the bus.
He's sick. You got to have Titan Fleischman as a captain at Montana State because he's 6'5", 330 pounds. He's your starting offensive tackle. He doesn't say a word, but he looks like the Incredible Hulk. That guy's got to be a captain. You got to walk him to the middle of the field. But then you need to have your quarterback as a captain. You need to have your best defensive player as a captain. You need to have your other best guy as a captain.
Well, they did just that because the
Indeed.
4 captains for the University of Montana Grizzlies this year are as follows. And no surprise, Eli Gilman, Kea Iliayat, Solomon Tuliapupu, and Peyton Wing.
See, here's the thing, though. All those guys were on the team last year.
Yep.
Ayat was not a game captain one time. How is your quarterback not a game captain? He's an All-American.
Yeah, I mean, he's only marginally talented, I think is the reason.
Gilman was a captain once. Like, here's the deal. You just have your best players. Like, it makes your team look weird if Kale Ayat is a first-team All-Conference, All-American quarterback who throws for more than 4,000 yards and 33 touchdowns, and he's not a captain.
Totally.
Think about this. I think most guys that are starting quarterbacks in the NFL have great leadership capabilities. That's why they got to that point. But there are some guys that maybe are a little bit reluctant as leaders. Guess who's got a C on their jersey on every team in the NFL? The starting quarterback.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're Mr. Rah-Rah Tim Tebow or doesn't say anything if you have a mouthful of Jalen Hurts. The quarterback is the captain.
Yeah.
You have to have the quarterback as a captain.
Well,
guess who didn't agree with that? The previous regime. So I just think that this is money, though. I think that this is who you got to have as your captains. If you were to say, okay, who's your alpha? Who's your guy you want to not walk to the middle of the field first? Solomon Tuliapupu. Who's your quarterback? Kaylee Ayat. Who's your best defensive player? Peyton Wing. Who's your overall best player? Eli Gilman.
Right.
There you go.
And I also think that it's great because in Gilman and Ayat, you got you know guys who are career Grizzlies.
Yes.
And then in Wing and Tuliapupu, you have guys who just transferred in last year but made a mark and have been, now consistent, coming into year 2, but here for the coaching changeover and also on the defensive side of the ball.
Sure.
So where you have a lot of, they're kind of the veterans on that side in terms of Grizzlies.
Sure.
In a lot of ways. And so to have those guys and phenomenal players to boot, which is, as you said, like that's kind of the point. That's what the captains are about. Coulter, let's talk just briefly, about this game. Just 2 minutes on the Grizz versus Southern Utah. Saturday night, the first game of the season. Can't believe that it's already here. 7 o'clock. It's going to be on ESPN Plus, among other places. But Southern Utah is making their re-entry into the Big Sky Conference. And them, along with Utah Tech, who's Montana State's opening opponent, are the 2 new football schools in Big Sky Conference play. And if you're wondering, yes, these first games are conference games.
Yes, everybody in the league opens up with a conference game. It all gets started Friday night with Idaho at Cal Poly. It's a nationally televised game. And then on Saturday, everybody in the league plays a conference opponent except for Idaho State. They are the one that gets the week 1 bye from league play, but they play Virginia Military Institute. First time Idaho State's had a Division I opponent in Pocatello to open their season since 2005. That's a stunning statistic. We'll get to that later on here in the week.
But it's worth noting, Southern Utah, so they were in the league until 2018, haven't been in.
Correct.
But last year, they played 3 Big Sky teams in their non-conference schedule.
Indeed.
They hammered Idaho State at home 46-24. Then they lost by 3 in an absolute shootout, 52-49, against then number 18th ranked Northern Arizona. And then they lost by a couple scores, but still put up 34 against UC Davis, who was a top 10 team in the nation. I say that to say, I know this is a year ago and all that, but this is a team that, lest we forget, is playing good football, has a real team, has a real program, and I think because there's familiarity with Southern Utah in general, because they have been a member of the Big Sky Conference in years past, there is a certain appreciation for that. But I think it's worth remembering, this is not like a welcome to Missoula for your 55-point beatdown. This is like, you better be ready to go if you're the Montana Grizzlies Saturday night.
Yeah, so Utah's been on the brink of being in the playoffs 3 years in a row. Last year, you mentioned it, but they started 1-5. to me, that's the mark of a great coach. Not to start 1-5. That's not the mark of a great coach. To start 1-5 and go 7-5, though, is a mark of a good coach. Because in the FCS, we've seen this so often. Your non-conference can be so disparate. It can be so all over the place. You might play a money game or two. You might not play a home game, or you might play one. You might just be staring at a 1-3 start straight up based on the financial status of your university.
For sure.
So then that wasn't necessarily the case here, but you do have to, I mean, you look at Southern Utah's beginning schedule. I mean, at UC Davis, at Tarleton State, and against Northern Arizona, those are 3 top 18 teams right out the gates. Also, West Georgia was ranked in the top 20 when they lost to them, but they lost 4 of those 5 games by a single score and 3 of them by a field goal. And then they get back on track and they beat number 13 Abilene Christian. And then they win 6 in a row and they go 7-5. So that's all to say that I think the Southern Utah team will be competitive. You look at the Big Sky Conference schedule, I actually think this is the most competitive conference game of the first weekend. We'll get to that in just a minute.
Okay. It is Tootell Nuanez, segment 1 in the books. Infinity more to come. So happy to be back on the air with you. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk a little Montana State and even hear from one of their newly minted captains, Zach Cruz, next.
Jewelry Design Center. We want to be your jeweler for life.
Bring the whole family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
In honor of our great nation's 250th anniversary, Mattress Firm is having its biggest 4th of July sale ever. The entire lineup of top-rated mattress brands are on sale with prices starting at $149 up to top-of-the-line mattresses with lifetime warranties. Get the sleep you deserve with payments starting at $39 a month. Mattress Firm has pillows, sheets, adjustable bases, all on sale too during their biggest 4th of July sale ever. Locally owned and nationally known Mattress Firm.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
Ian Mackenzie Olson and Nicholas Balkin came out winners at the 39th Montana State Men's Mid-Amateur and Masters 40 Championships in what was a dramatic finish on the 18th hole for both competitors. Hello, I am Hayden Smith. Coming into day 3 tied for the lead, Mackenzie Olson of Great Falls continued his excellent play with 5 birdies and only 1 bogey to finish the day at 4 under 68, which put him at 12 under overall. The win didn't come easy, however, as Malta's Gordon Webb made a run during his final round, and it all came down to the 18th hole when Webb put himself in position to tie it up, but an eagle putt but just slipped out of the hole, giving Mackenzie Olsen his first Montana State Championship victory. Webb, a Montana Golf Hall of Famer and former state amateur and mid-amateur champion, notched 8 birdies and 4 bogeys on day 3, putting his final round score at 68 and 11 under overall. The Master 40 came down to the final hole as well. Playing 2 groups ahead of the championship group, Whitefish's Brad Gratton made a run at the title, managing to tie it up after notching 6 birdies and only 2 bogeys for a final day score of 68 to finish 7 under overall. Balkan of Helena went to the 18th hole tied with Gratton and needed a birdie for the victory, but made a clutch eagle putt instead to put him up 2 strokes and giving him the 2nd MSGA championship title after winning state match play in 2025.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Canyon River Golf Club. If it matters to Missoula, it matters to us. Ryan Tootell and Tootell Nuanez on 102.9 ESPN Radio.
If Hayden ever needs a different job besides running the board here for this show and getting all the ads on and doing, basically making the radio station run, he could have a job on the trail, I think. He's a great DJ.
He could, except I selected the song and you talked right over the big drop. I'm sitting here trying to give the people a nice ramp up into their morning, and you just open up and start jumping all over this thing.
Mid-season form.
Hayden, you did such a good job. You're probably going to have to play that song again because nobody got to hear it because he's over here giving you compliments. Hayden Smith, by the way, producing Tootell Nuanez.
I was loving the compliments until you ruined that for me, Ryan. So thank you very much for starting this off that way. But I will happily bring that back for you coming into your next spring.
35 minutes into this show series, you don't get any compliments yet. We got to break you down to build you back up. That's what we're doing here. For crying in the night. It's Tootell Nuanez. Again, no one knows what they're doing. The host of the show, silent. The co-host of the show, talking over the music. It's okay. It's great music. We'll run it back again.
Hey, I did this for 4.5 years with you under the premise that I would never, ever, ever, ever do it by myself or as the number one. That was what I refused to do. Didn't want to do the ins and outs. Didn't want to do the, radio personality. All that. That's Ryan's job. Well, now you made me do it for 5.5 years by myself, so now I don't know how to do it.
You
it's
even
like
turned
muscle
on
memory.
mic number 1 to open, and my big open "Hello Montana" was echoey because you had the wrong mic push.
Hey, we're gonna get Ryan into the number 1 seat, so I can just sit over.
I like it over here. Get my better profile, the left here to the video screen.
My wife says to tell you that you look even better than the last time you were here on the worldwide TV.
It just gets better and better.
You look just as good on camera, maybe better.
Radio is.
She didn't say anything about me, just you.
I mean, that's pretty obvious, I would think. But the radio is my favorite thing. And God bless everybody out there cruising around listening to us on the radio. But when you get home, put it on the YouTube. Pull it up so that you can see, because we got a couple beautiful people sitting in here doing this radio show too. I mean, we didn't even want to be on TV, and they said, no, you have to be on TV. We're gonna have millions in the audience as long as we can get your faces to go with these voices. So there we are. Hey, it's Tootell Nuanez. We are back on the air 8 to 10 a.m. every weekday. If you're just joining us, so happy welcome to the inaugural episode of the second run of this particular show here on ESPN in Western Montana. Happy to be with all of you. Colton, we talked very, very briefly about the Grizzlies and Southern Utah. We've got all week to talk about it. But also Montana State, as we continue in the Montana Football Hour, is opening up on the road at Utah Tech. We mentioned, by the way, that the Grizzlies had all 4 of their captains, appointed?
Anointed. Yep.
Okay.
Selected.
There we go.
Honored.
Same thing at Montana State. They went with 6.
Yes.
3 captains from last year are captains again this year, and then 3 new captains. And again, the list is kind of a who's who of the Montana State Bobcats. Caden Dowler, Titan Fleischman, and Adam Jones were captains last year and are again here in 2026. They are joined by Zach Cruz, Taco Dowler, and Justin Lamson. No surprise there. So, and interestingly enough, to your point, your quarterback has to be the captain. Was not the quarterback. It was not the captain last year for the Bobcats, that being Justin Lamson, but is this season. So they've got 6, the Grizzlies got 4, and the world is as it should be with those names on that list.
Well, it's so funny because our good friend Bill Lamberty, who might be listening in from Bozeman, he's a sports information director, longtime sports information director at Montana State, a guy that's certainly provided more interviews for these radio shows and all my platforms than anybody on this earth. No question. It's not even close. I mean, when you do it for 16 years with a guy, he's kind of your go-to guy. But he texted me before they released this and said, hey, guess who the captains are. I went 6 for 6. That's not because I know so much about this, just because I thought it was like pretty blatantly, clearly obvious who the guys were going to be. As you mentioned, Caden Dowler, Titan Fleischman, and Adam Jones were all captains a year ago. Adam Jones now, as a junior, has an opportunity to be a 3-time captain, which is, there's a lot of rare honors in college football. I do think being a 3-time captain is among the most rare because it's just so hard to become a captain when you're only a sophomore and then maintain that for 2 more years. Certainly Taco Dowler, after his unbelievable season a year ago, capped by one of the great endings to a season that we've ever seen. First of all, the 3rd and 20 in the Super Bowl. That was the play of the game. I mean, this is the play of the century for Montana State,
no
right?
doubt.
It broke the game open, and that's what helped Montana State right off, to the national championship game. And then, of course, he catches the game-winning touchdown in the national championship game after having 2 other highlight touchdowns. I mean, the guy freaked out. He had one of the great, month-long stretches we've ever seen.
Amazing.
To lead Montana State. But also, I think he's also matured into a very direct and considerate leader, which is something I think is a huge piece of growth. Because if you knew anything about him or followed him when he was in high school, the talent has been undeniable. He's the Gatorade Player of the Year coming out of Billings West High School. The other stuff, the maturity and
and the size.
Well, totally. But he had a lot of growing up to do, let's say. And he'd be the first one to tell you that. And he has. He certainly has. And then Justin Lamson, of course, is your quarterback. Last year, no surprise, he wasn't a captain because he actually didn't even participate in spring ball last year at Montana State. He came in during the spring, but he had to get some stuff at Stanford figured out before he could become eligible. So he didn't get actually on the team until August. Pretty hard to win a captain spot in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But now, as a returning senior starter, that was pretty obvious. And then maybe the one guy that was a little swing guy, I thought it would be either Zach Cruz or Takari Carr. Takari Carr is a senior defensive back who's the veteran in the secondary. But Zach Cruz, I think, has proven himself over and over again. As I've said multiple times throughout the last couple of weeks, the Zach Cruz saga is much chronicled. If you are unfamiliar with the controversy that sort of trademarked the beginning part of his college football career, you can certainly go Google it and do a deep dive yourself. We have talked about that pretty much ad nauseum on the show, and we've talked about it in a lot of different forms with a lot of different people through a lot of different lenses. We'll leave it at that. He lost his opportunity at Montana because of a racially charged post on social media. He got back on his feet at Montana State. Here we are now 5 years later, though, and he's expected to be one of the best players in the Big Sky Conference. He's been a guy that's been the 3rd defensive end there at MSU for the last couple of years, but now with Kenneth Iden and Hunter Parsons graduating, he's expected to be the man. He was a preseason All-Big Sky selection. He was on Bruce Feldman's list of the top 90 biggest freaks in college football, and I think if he has the year that his potential indicates that he could have, I think he's an NFL guy.
No question. He's on that track, both in terms of his physical stature and also his play, the growth in his play, which obviously Montana State is hoping reaches its pinnacle this particular season. Coulter, you had an opportunity to sit down with Zach Cruz. We have a little piece of that interview. We're going to play it for you now, so let's hear from the new captain at Montana State, Zach Cruz.
Joining us here on a variety of different platforms. But first of all, you got to start with the trip, man. You guys just went back east, so tell me, what's it like standing in the Oval Office and checking out the Capitol and seeing the president and all the stuff you guys did on Wednesday afternoon?
Yeah, well, I mean, just first off, what a cool experience. That's something not a lot of people in this country get to do. And to share that experience with the team and with all these brothers in the team from last year was just amazing. Standing inside that Oval Office, all the history around that place, and to be able to soak that in and meet our President of the United States was amazing. I was actually just talking to one of our staff here that didn't get to go on the trip, and I was standing like a foot and a half away from one of the original copies of the Declaration of Independence, and it was, just feeling that, and kind of the presence around that is unbelievable, especially it being the 250th anniversary of our country.
It's crazy. It must have been surreal to be standing in the Oval Office, too. The video that went viral on social media where he called out Josiah Swig, and he's like, can I get through you? Josiah must have been like, what the heck? The president is talking to me, man. What a surreal experience for him and for all you guys to just be there and stand there in the Oval Office.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably had some nerves. I talked to Parker. Parker was the one who came.
Right, gave him the ring.
And Parker said he was shaking when he handed the ring over to him. Just being the president of someone of that caliber, of that importance to our country is like no other.
Yeah, pretty crazy, man. Well, that is just the latest of what has been a whirlwind off season for you guys. Yeah. Everything from coming back to Bozeman and then the parades and the banner unveilings and all that, but also you're still trying to grind to get ready for this season, which is a huge season for you going into your senior year, and also a huge season just for the program in general. So how did you manage it all, both personally and from a team perspective, having so much going on and still trying to keep your focus and keep your drive?
Yeah, I just think the main focus was enjoy what we did and soak it all in from last year, but always have a forward mindset, a mindset where we're going to improve each and every day. And so going into summer workouts and conditioning and stuff like that, just knowing that we're going to have a target on our back. We're going to have to prove what we did last year, and it's not that it wasn't any fluke, and that we can go do it again. And so. Like I said, just trying to enjoy everything that came with last year's season, but then again, keeping your eye on the horizon and knowing that we got another season to go play and to go do it all over again,
Well, you've had sort of a pretty common theme each off season for a long time, even since before you got there, and just trying to figure out a way to get over the top. Montana State's been so good. But was right on the brink, but never could break through. But now you have broken through. So how does that sort of change your mindset as an athlete? You kind of go from being the hunter to the hunted now.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't think it changes anything. We just hit the reset button and we go do it all over again. So not changing our mindset, going 1-0 each and every day, working to improve. Every time we step on the field, getting 1% better. That's our mindset. I don't think winning the national championship last year has changed any of that. I think honestly, it has driven more and more people in our building to just go do it over again and start from square one.
When you need motivation, what do you think about? Like, what's the thing that drives you forward right now?
Honestly, just that feeling of getting the job done. Not a lot of teams get to finish the year on a win, especially on that stage. And so each year the goal is to end the season on a win. And so that's the motivation I have.
There you go. Zach Cruz, Montana State captain, talking with Tootell Nuanez. This is very cool, and I'm very excited about this, just to re-emphasize this to people. This is Tootell Nuanez.
Indeed.
This is on the air from 8 to 10 a.m. in Missoula, Montana, every single weekday morning. From 4 to 6 in the afternoon, Nuanez now carries on. And the entire interview with Zach Cruz, along with a ton of other stuff, will be on today. So you can listen to that this afternoon, get the full interview with Zach Cruz and plenty of other people. But 4 to 6, we're still doing it, baby. That's still out there. Nuanez now with a lot more long form stuff, bigger interviews and conversations with a ton of different people that will be coming through. So effectively 2 shows going here on ESPN in Missoula. Very excited to be able to retain that afternoon window for everybody and continue the great work culture that you've been doing.
You're welcome.
It's Tootell and Nuanez. We'll take a break. On the other side, we will continue the Montana Football Hour, starting with, transfers are a huge story. Who are some of the new players that we need to keep an eye on that have not played a down yet for either Montana State or the Montana Grizzlies? Coulter is going to enlighten us after this. Hey, it is almost hunting season, okay? And if hunting is your passion, then you already know that the best gear can make a difference, and Bob Ward's has the brands that Montana hunters trust. Vortex Optics, Sitka, King's Camo, marsupial gear, Stone Glacier, and more. Packs, optics, camouflage boots, clothing, camping gear, and everything you need for the backcountry at the best prices. Plus, when you shop Bob Ward's, you're supporting a Montana business that's been outfitting outdoor adventurers since 1917. Hello, people. They know what they're doing. Come through the doors and get ready to fill tags and your freezer. Bob Ward's Sports and Outdoors, Montana style.
In honor of our great nation's 250th anniversary, Mattress Firm is having its biggest 4th of July sale ever. Save up to $1,000 off top-rated Tempur-Pedic, or save hundreds off Purple mattresses and premium adjustable bases. Save up to 50% on top-of-the-line mattresses, all backed by their 365-day guarantee. See store for details. It's their biggest 4th of July sale ever at your locally owned and nationally known Mattress Firm.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
Les Schwab changed the tire game more than 70 years ago. Today, we still believe you should get more from less. Like more hustle, less hassle. More of the best service around, less of the runaround. Because we include America's best tire warranty in every tire we sell. So you get more unbeatable warranty, less charging you extra. It's why we're more than proud to say, you get more from less.
Jewelry Design Center. We want to be your jeweler for life.
Tootell Nuanez on 102.9 ESPN Radio for Missoula.
When I wake up in the morning, love, and the sunlight hurts my eyes.
Now, I did not pick this song, just so we're clear.
McCall did.
McCall.
It's one of McCall's first favorite songs.
Excellent choice.
One of the best pieces of parenting advice I ever got from you is that if your children are obsessed with annoying children's songs, that is your fault.
It's your fault.
That's right.
So, yeah, well done, McCall. Thank you for easing
He
us
loves
in
him some Billy Withers. His top right now, though, this is hilarious. He really got into Michael Jackson. That's not that surprising. It's pretty universally beloved and also pretty easy entry point for kids, right? But then we started listening to similar stuff in the similar vein. He actually likes Prince better than Michael Jackson.
Is that right?
One of the only people on this earth that holds that opinion, but he loves
tremendous taste. And I expect nothing less out of your son. It is Tootell Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Great to be on with all of you across the state and across the planet, man. We got
worldwide, baby.
ESPN MT app. If you haven't downloaded it, go ahead. It's on all of your favorite Apple, Android. Am I saying all this stuff right, man? I don't know how to even speak about this stuff anymore.
Hey, don't let Ryan fool you. That's
trying to get back on the
number one thing I reminded Hayden of when he's teaching Ryan about all this stuff. I said, hey, here's the deal. Ryan acts like he's from the 1300s. And he dresses like he's from 1972. He actually has better tech acumen than you want to believe.
I don't know about that. I didn't know until we started this show that there was such a thing as called Twitch. I thought that was like
I'm also new to the Twitch.
Something that happens if you stick your finger in a socket. All right.
Or you drink too much coffee.
Hey, gentlemen, one moment. We have a caller.
Let's go.
Boy. Okay. This is we had big plans for this 4-minute segment, and now it's gone sideways. All right. Who we got? We just bringing somebody in. Hello.
Hey, first of all, you guys have forgotten how to bring callers on the show. Number 2. I know that you've gone to great lengths to evade the fact that you have to follow the clocks. You've done this. You've gone so far to move the show to 8, 7, 8, 9, 10 a.m. thinking I'm not listening. I'm always listening.
Always listening.
So, for those of you who don't know,
if you play a single song by Creed, the tug is pulled. This is all over.
Our former producer Tommy Evans and current engineer,
now executive, baby. I'm listening all the time.
And now he's going to come in here and complain on live radio about the clock that we haven't even messed up yet.
No, we were 2 minutes late on the first one because we were excited. But we were right on time.
We're 2 minutes away from being late on this one, and he is jamming up all the time, Tommy. So, yeah, thanks for listening, I guess. I'll take your critiques off air. Okay, that's what I want.
It's like they say in Monsters, Inc. I'm always watching Wazowski.
Okay, thank you, Tommy. See, the only reason Hayden let him on is because it's his boss. He's like, if I don't do this.
I mean, if we're being honest, the guy that turns on and off the radio machine, and he's the only person in the building that can actually fix the things that none of the rest of us can fix, he actually, in fact, is probably everybody's boss.
Here, since Tommy's listening, here's what I'm going to say. We've got this new. It is new. It's the Tootell Nuanez answering machine. We're going to have people call in.
Yep.
And they're going to leave us a voicemail. And I said, Tommy, how do I record something for the voicemail? Because we want people to be welcomed in.
Yeah.
He said, just record it and send it to me. Because it has to be put on through a website. So there's a very high technical stuff using a website to run your answering machine. Okay? Well, I've done that. Is my voice on the answering machine right now? I don't know the answer to that. And if it's not, you know whose fault it is? Caller number 1 to this show, the former producer who's derelict in his duties, Tommy Evans. Of course, if it's been done, then thanks, Tommy.
Indeed.
Great work. And if you'd like to call, feel free. 406-888-1029. That is the phone number for the Tootell Nuanez answering machine. Now, here's the deal. We had big plans of having a spotlight of some new players.
Indeed.
Well, that's not going to happen because, obviously, as we've been told, if we don't stick to the clock, we're immediately fired. The show is over. 1 hour. That's our careers kaput. So we're going to get out, but we will come back. We will continue talking, obviously, football. We're going to get into some NFL stuff in the second hour. We're going to get into some prep storylines. And we will highlight a couple of players who are new to both the Grizzlies and the Bobcats so that we can get a little feel for what is the new world of college football where we got guys coming in we never heard of before. But you know who has heard of them? Colter Nuanez. Indeed. That's what he does. So we will continue with that after this. It is Tootell Nuanez. It is ESPN Radio. Is it wrong to get out early? Let's do it. We'll see you after this.
Life can change in an instant. If you've been hurt in an accident, suffered from medical negligence, or are facing criminal charges, you don't have to face it alone. At Ryan Miller & Coburn, we're here to listen and fight for you. We're your neighbors, traveling across Montana to stand by your side as your link to justice. Real people, real help, right here in Montana. Ryan Miller & Coburn, your Montana attorneys.
DeMorris Buick GMC is ready to help you safely travel Montana's scenic roads in comfort and style. Stop by DeMorris today and test drive some outstanding SUVs. Right now, take advantage of closeout pricing on the exceptionally designed 2024 Buick Envision with models starting at $39,795. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to DeMorris.com to preview our inventory of 2024 Buick Envisions and then pay a visit to DeMorris Buick GMC on West Broadway in Missoula, your family-owned hometown dealership for over 60 years.
Around here, we see a lot of people head out. No matter where they're going, we just make sure they're ready. Before you hit the road, get a pre-trip safety check at Les Schwab Tires. It's free. Plus, this May, save up to $200 on select sets of 4 tires.
If we can't guarantee it, we won't sell it.
Life's about the journey, not the destination, right? Why can't it be about both?
ESPN Radio for Western Montana, KKVU HD3 Stevensville, and 102.9 FM on K275BS Missoula. ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Ian Mackenzie Olson and Nicholas Balkin came out winners at the 39th Montana State Men's Mid-Amateur and Masters 40 Championships in what was a dramatic finish on the 18th hole for both competitors. Hello, I am Hayden Smith. Coming into day 3 tied for the lead, Mackenzie Olson of Great Falls continued his excellent play with 5 birdies and only 1 bogey to finish the day at 4 under 68, which put him at 12 under overall. The win didn't come easy, however, as Malta's Gordon Webb made a run during his final round, and it all came down to the 18th hole when Webb put himself in position to tie it up, but an eagle putt just slipped out of the hole, giving Mackenzie Olson his first Montana State Championship victory. Webb, a Montana Golf Hall of Famer and former state amateur and mid-amateur champion, notched 8 birdies and 4 bogeys on day 3, putting his final round score at 68 and 11 under overall. The Master 40 came down to the final hole as well. Playing 2 groups ahead of the championship group, Whitefish's Brad Gratton made a run at the title, managing to tie it up after notching 6 birdies and only 2 bogeys for a final day score of 68 to finish 7 under overall. Balkin of Helena went to the 18th hole tied with Gratton and needed a birdie for the victory, but made a clutch eagle putt instead to put him up 2 strokes and giving him the 2nd MSGA championship title after winning state match play in 2025.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Canyon River Golf Club.
Sleeping Beauty, come on, hop, hop, hop.
Where is the coffee?
You want me to fill you up?
Please, to the top, to the top, to the top. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's already hour number 2. I don't even remember hour number 1.
I don't even remember entering this room.
Well, buddy, you and I are on the same page. You ready?
Yeah, hour number 2. Let's do it.
Welcome back to Tootell Nuanez. If you missed anything in the first hour, listen to the podcast, available on all your favorite podcasting platforms. Now, broadcasting live from the Grizzly Disposal Studios, here are your hosts, Ryan Tootell and Coulter Nuanez.
Hour 2. Hello again, Montana. It is Tootell Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio. Back and just getting back on this horsey for the first time in some number of years, figuring it out in real time. Hello, Coulter.
You're always getting better, you're getting worse. There's no such thing as staying the same.
That's right.
That was much better than the first hour. Good job.
Right. Well, the microphone was on. That's helpful.
I pressed the right button.
That's helpful. You know, it was better than the first hour. Just trying to learn how to do this.
If you guys ever doubted this was live, we have no less than 10,000 examples at this exact moment.
It is Tootell Nuanez. Great to be with you here on game week. I mean, enough with the radio show, for crying out loud. We got football, baby, coming through the state of Montana, both Montana State, as well as basically the rest of the country, opening up football this weekend, Saturday for the Grizzly Cats, but even Friday night for a lot of teams around. What a time to be alive, man, getting ready for another football season, and this one's got me amped in a way that I really honestly don't recall. I mean, I am so excited for this entire season to get this thing rolling.
Well, you know, you're back being employed, so that's good. It helps.
I'm going to go shop for cereal as soon as we're done here.
As will become commonplace. By the way, as Ryan mentioned in the first hour, but I know there's very many of you that are listening in that are loyal and that have been around and that remember Tootell Nuanez back in the olden days when we used to do it over back when we used to do it over at our old studios and the pre-pandemic era. And then there's a whole bunch of you that maybe are new here. You know, they say, I don't know if this is true or not. This is a statistic from the Board of Tourism. They say that the population of Missoula turns over by about 10% annually over this last decade, which means you haven't been here in 5 years, so half the people in this town are new. I don't know if I believe that, but there's certainly a lot of new people. So if you are new, welcome in. But if you are unfamiliar with this, we oftentimes go way too long, and whatever we were talking about in the last segment or the last hour carries into the next segment and the next hour. So I got two more things to get to with you before we get into tower number two. So one, I think that you had a note on the first hour about Montana State opening up at Utah Tech and how you thought that was maybe a little bit lackluster.
I didn't get to that point because we had the head boss calling in live to read us the riot act. So, but I get that Utah Tech, first of all, these games are scheduled well out in advance.
And to be fair, non-conference games are scheduled by the university. You choose who you play in the non-conference. Your conference schedule is not. The reason this conference schedule got so altered is in the Big Sky, Southern Utah and Utah Tech joined the league. They already had full non-conference schedules against league opponents.
Right.
So the league, I mean, Southern Utah and Utah Tech were both going to play 3 Big Sky games before they joined the Big Sky. So the league just said, well, let's not screw everything up and make everybody in the league reschedule multiple games. Let's just start playing league and we'll reduce the number of non-conference games. So most of the time your opener, you choose. Montana State is not choosing to go to Utah Tech. This is part of the conference slate.
And it's the right decision on a macro level, but one of the upshots of this is Montana State, coming off a national championship, is traveling to Utah Tech to play. And
you think this is lackluster. I think this is great and ideal for the Bobcats. I think the last thing you want to do is celebrate from the day you got back from Nashville until the first game of the year and have the first game of the year be the Gold Rush. They've already had all the fanfare. They got their rings during the spring game. They got to go to the White House. They've already had the parade. They've already done all this stuff. Now, again, Utah Tech expected to be one of the worst teams in the conference, but it's not an easy trip. The number one factor in this game is they've already moved kickoff back twice. Because guess what the high is in St. George, Utah on Saturday? 104 degrees. So they've moved the kickoff from 6 to 7 to 8 to try to get people to come to this game as well as not kill the players, because playing in 104 is not necessarily ideal. I just think I agree with it. You know, if they were opening on the road at an FBS, that would be intriguing. If they were opening on the road at one of the high quality Big Sky opponents. But I also think just the fact they are opening on the road and it's not just this massive continuation of the celebration that's already been going for the last 8 months, I think it helps Montana State. I think if you roll right into a gold rush, I think that gets a little bit awkward.
Hayden, I want you to get a whiteboard and I want you to get some erase markers, but you're not going to need to erase it. Get permanent markers, okay? And we're going to keep score of Coulter's and my disagreements, and you can mark me down for 1 and him for 0. And that trend will continue in perpetuity as well. There's no chance that this is the best thing for the Montana State Bobcats.
Well, you want them to play at home?
Absolutely, you want a dead national championship? You drop the I know they're going to do it.
They're going to do it.
Of course, but going to Utah Tech to open up where you're rolling in their rings on fingers, no, this is not how to open your season as a defending national champion.
Don't you think it's better for the arc of their season, though?
No. The arc of their season
you wanna know who doesn't,
is wins.
You want to know who doesn't want them to celebrate? Brett Vegan. The celebration's done. I bet you he is thrilled that they have to go on the road 1,000,000 miles away.
Then you and Coach Vegan are wrong. This is me being right again. You want to have your crowd being there and open up and go, okay, this is what it is. A gold rush game to start the season. They're not celebrating, man. They're working over there. Everybody's working. It's a new season. I get all that. But for crying out loud, what was it, 1984, right? That's a long time ago, buddy. You better celebrate as long as you want. And that doesn't mean that you're not going to focus in on the game. And look, it's not even about the celebration. It's just about going to your point. Is it Cedar City or St. George? St. George, and having it be 104, and they're moving times back so they can get people to show up to the game. No, this is not the setting that you want to arrive at as a defending national championship. I'm sorry. That's just not the spot for you.
96 at kickoff is what the projected heat index is at in St. George right now.
At least it's a dry heat.
Tootell Nuanez, we do have now a new podcast, a revived podcast. So here's the deal. We had Tootell Nuanez. That was podcasted. Then that just organically became the Nuanez Now podcast, which is still podcasted. But now that means there's a new Tootell Nuanez podcast. So if you are a podcaster, we will have the archived version of this here fine radio show every day on the podcast network. Just go to Tootell Nuanez, press subscribe. We'll also keep on having Nuanez Now, original content in the afternoons as well. Sometimes you'll be able to nab Nuanez Now in real time. Most of the time lately, I guess over the last 5 years, you couldn't really get Nuanez Now till 6:30 because we had to do the show. But a lot of times now you'll be able to get it right at the 4 o'clock hour, right when it's getting going. So if you want to listen during your evening drive time, that's all good. We have to say thanks to our great podcast sponsors, including Holloway & Holing. Holloway & Holing voted Best Attorney of Missoula in 2026. They are masters when it comes to criminal defense, personal injury, or family law. If you want to find out more about how Holloway & Holing can help you, if you have a court date, remember, call Nate. You can visit online at MontanaLawyers.net. Okay, other point I want to make.
Wait. This is important.
Yes,
okay, coming out of a read for personal defense attorneys.
Yeah.
3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks ago, I got a notice in the mail. Jury duty.
Well, you're not part of the media, so you're
August 24th.
Here you are.
I got a call last week. There was a pretrial diversion, no longer going to trial. We don't need you. I was like, thank goodness, because I misplaced my sheet.
Here's the get out of jail free card, because you have this now.
That's right. You're a member of the media.
You're gainfully employed. You're a member of the media. You can't.
Yeah.
You're in a bustling newsroom that might influence your bias.
My dad was the foreman for the jury on a murder trial in Missoula in the 90s.
Oh man.
And it was big news. It went weeks long.
Your dad is like a movie character too, where I could see him in the jury room just lining everybody out.
Oh boy, he just
by the book. Here we are.
There was no foreman vote taken. He just walked in and said, "I'm the foreman.
You will defer to me.
This is what we're gonna do." Anyway, I've always wanted to be on a jury, though. I think it would be really fast. And I mean, both contributing to the civic duties, but also just to do that. I think it would be
It depends
I
on
would
the
be
case.
very
man.
intrigued to do
It
that.
depends on the case.
Well, certainly.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't want to
some
lose.
Some of it would be really, really depressing. Like my mom was on a jury trial for like a sexual assault case that involved like I think an underage person, and like that was like so haunting for her. It was horrible. So, anyways, second point I wanted to make coming out of the first hour.
Okay, I just wanted to talk about being on jury duty. Okay, go ahead.
So here's your Big Sky slate real quick, and we'll have a Big Sky scoreboard for you every Monday morning here on Tootell Nuanez. But we get this thing kicked off. One of the first college football games of the year is Idaho at Cal Poly Friday night. So if you'd like to maybe get together for that one, little Big Sky After Dark, 8 p.m. national TV.
Dude,
maybe we should have a beer or two.
I'm not saying no to any football. Just period.
Well, and here's the other best part about having Ryan back in the fold. Now we really, literally can tell our wives we have to get together to watch this game because we're working.
Got to work, babe.
This is working.
Hey.
So the rest of your Big Sky slate includes UC Davis playing at Portland State, Eastern Washington playing at Northern Arizona, Southern Utah playing at Montana, Weber State playing at Northern Colorado, and Montana State playing at Utah Tech. So if you think the Montana State-Utah Tech game is lackluster, that's fine. I think the vast majority of these conference openers are lackluster. I think Idaho has a lot to prove this year because of the downfall of last year. I mean, they were in the playoffs 3 years in a row, quarterfinals, back-to-back years, and then they went 4-8 last year, and it was an objective step back from the Jason Eck era.
Yeah.
And I don't know what Cal Poly has to hold, but there is actually some hype, and this is going to be a cool visual at Cal Poly this weekend because I believe that San Luis Obispo and Cal Poly has never been on national television before, like the actual ESPN1. SLO is a beautiful place, but they also have plenty to roll out. $60 million facility named after who? John Madden. Yes, that John Madden.
Pretty good.
Pretty good. So that would be a cool pregame at least to
Absolutely.
just take it all in.
And is this right? Customato's grandson is on this football team?
Mikey D'Amato, who's an All-American linebacker for Cal Poly. To me, the best defensive player probably in the Big Sky Conference, besides Caden Dowler, obviously at Montana.
Best player on that team.
He's definitely the best player on that team. He's a first-team All-American a year ago. We sit down to the Big Sky kickoff, and we talk all about his football journey. His dad had played for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 1990s, and Mikey D'Amato almost went to Montana State, but then ended up pivoting, going to a junior college, and then bouncing back and going to Cal Poly. We asked him all about his playing style, yada, yada, yada. Well, then we get done with the interview, and Sammy Kim asks Mike, he says, D'Amato, are you Italian? He goes, oh, yeah, I'm Italian. He goes, yeah, my grandfather's actually Cus D'Amato. I was like, you could have told me that before I interviewed you for 15 minutes. That's all we would have talked about.
We would just what do you know about Mike Tyson? What are your memories? How does this
I actually think it's his great grandfather. I think it's his father's grandfather.
You think so? Are we that far down the line?
D'Amato died in his late 80s 40 years ago. 36 years. I mean, he died in the early 1990s.
That's right.
Which was one of the pivotal influences in Mike Tyson's career getting derailed. I mean, Mike Tyson might have just stayed the heavyweight champion of the world for like 20 years in a row if he would have had his sensei to help guide him. But when Cus D'Amato died, then Tyson gets in the hands of Don King. Much well chronicled, hundreds of millions of dollars right up his nose, and it's just like he's in prison. None of it went well. So, Cus D'Amato, he died in his late 80s in the early 90s. So,
well, if we would have known this from before, you could have asked him during your interview instead of wasting time about linebacker play.
Of course, we're off track, but Idaho Cal Poly should be a good one. But the rest of those Saturday games, though, UC Davis, Portland State, Eastern Washington, Northern Arizona, Montana State, Utah Tech, and Weber State, Northern Colorado. I mean, I'm interested in Weber just because they have a new coach, and I'm interested in Northern Colorado because history would say that Ed Lamb's third year at a program, they could be a little bit better. But they just haven't been that much better the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just an impossible job. If Ed Lamb can't do it, I don't think anybody can. Like if you go Ed McCaffrey, Ed Lamb, and you still win 2 games a year, I think you're just stuck in the 2-win mode.
Yeah.
That's all to say that I actually think that the most intriguing conference opener and the most intriguing first game of the year for a Big Sky Conference team is right here in Missoula, Montana.
Saturday night.
And regardless if we disagree on the opener for the Cats in St. George, I find it, 1, refreshing, and 2, thrilling that there is a real Division I team that's coming to Missoula for the first game.
Absolutely.
I am so tired of watching the Grizz play whoever and play all sorts of variable results, whether they just roll them or they don't play well and still win, whatever. Like Central Washington last year was a good Division II team. The Grizz did not play that well. And yet and even though they didn't really roll them, they still won like 48-17. I would love to just see like a real football game. And I think Southern Utah is going to be up against it just based on the matchup. But that's all to say that I think that there's a real Big Sky team that's had a winning record 3 years in a row coming to Washington Grizzly Stadium on Saturday. I think that's very intriguing.
For whoever loses these first set of games across the conference to be 0-1 in conference play, having not gotten to play a game to start, is pretty tough to swallow. And I think, obviously going forward, that's not the way it's going to be. But for the fans, for us, to watch games that are conference games right out the gate, I mean, let's go, right? I mean, taking any time with this thing, and I think that should be just another sort of emphasis of preparation, right? I mean, this is the Nick Saban thing. Hey, if I can get ready to play Florida State or Texas and not
Saban did this for
Georgia
years.
Southern or whatever it might be.
Yeah,
then
Saban did this for years. Saban would always schedule Gardner Webb before the Iron Bowl, not the first game of the year.
Right.
He'd schedule, Miami or Penn State or Florida State week 1, and then get your cupcake game the week before you play Auburn.
Right. But part of that is because you know how much better your prep is when you know who's rolling in week 1 for the entire fall camp. So looking forward to that one. Okay, Coulter, I want to get to this.
Tell them who we're listening to or what they're listening to.
This is ESPN Radio.
That's right.
Oh, you want my name?
He's back.
Okay.
He's back.
Boys and girls, it's Tootell Nuanez. We're back on the air. We're trying to get back on the horse. It's sort of like riding a bike, but it's like riding a bike where the gear keeps slipping. Like cutting my calf on the chain. But we'll get there. We're going to get there. Hey, I wanted to talk about a couple of players because we talked a lot. We mentioned all the captains from the Grizz and Cats, and we know, obviously a lot of the returners and that kind of thing. But obviously, in this climate of college football, there are going to be new players each year who are immediate impact guys that are walking off the street onto the field, starting 22 type of players. I want you to give me one player each for the University of Montana. We'll start with the Grizzlies, and then Montana State as well, of guys who are new, not necessarily freshmen, obviously, but any transfer or whatever that you're like, hey, this is a player that we have not seen play, and they're going to be an impact guy. Who you got?
For the Grizz, it's so easy, and it was the last time I had this experience at a Grizz football practice where you walk up and especially now, like the last handful of years, it's been so dizzying the first couple times you go to practice.
Right.
Because, first of all, the roster has 50 new guys on it every year. Second of all these dudes change numbers just like ad nauseum. Right. Like so even if a guy has been on the team, he wearing a new number because he wanted the single-digit fancy number or whatever. So it's so hard to figure it out. But I've only had this experience twice in the last 5 years where you walk up, and within 5 minutes, you're like, who's that guy? Give me the roster. That guy is the guy. Mm-hmm. The last time this happened, the guy was number 10, and it was Eli Gilman. He's now knocking on the door of being the first, the best running back in the history of the school. He's 400 yards or a little bit less than 400 yards away from breaking, the all-time rushing record. He only needs 7 more touchdowns to break Chase Reynolds' all-time touchdowns record. But the very first day I saw him, when he's an incoming freshman, you're like, who's that guy? And then you remember, that's the kid who was the Minnesota Player of the Year that they somehow stole from the Gophers. Here he is. Well, this guy's not an incoming freshman. He's a transfer, but he was not here during the spring. So they had several receivers that were here during the spring that made, I thought, pretty good waves. Legend Lyons had the nice touchdown in the spring game, so I thought he would be a guy that we'd be watching. But no, it's number 2, Landon Ransom Goals. We're going to call him LRG for short. He's a transfer from Rice. He played at Rice when Bobby Kennedy was there, so that's the connection that brought him to Missoula. He's not overly big. He's about 6'1", 190 pounds. But the dude is as smooth and fluid of a receiver as I have seen. There's a variety of different styles of quarterbacks. There's guy. I think that the phrase that you use to how a guy throws it is actually important. Some guys spin it. Some guys throw darts. Some guys throw lasers. Some guys sling it. Kaylee Ayat slings it. Like he throws on the run a lot, and he's got a lot of different arm angles. He's I'm not saying he's Aaron Rodgers, but he's very Aaron Rodgers-esque in his ability to throw from different platforms and throw on the run, especially when he's rolling to his right. Guys that sling it, their best throw is when they can throw a guy open and they can lead him and throw it out in front of him. that's the type of ball Landon Ransom Goals wants to catch. So that first day at practice, I'm like, dude, this guy has like 15 catches already during the team. Like, who is this guy? I thought Brooks Davis was supposed to be the guy. This guy is the guy that's the guy. Brooks Davis is still going to be a guy. Make no bones about it. But Landon Ransom Goals stood out immediately to me, and I think he's going to be a huge impact player for the Grizz.
How much of that do you think is directly tied to Bobby Kennedy, who's the wide receivers coach last year and has such a history with that position, to convince a guy like that to, hey, this is where you want to be, this is where we're going to get it done?
Well, and I think it's also telling, because I think that, first of all, that group loses Michael Wortham and Drew Deck, who are both really productive. I mean, Wortham was All-American, and Deck was really clutch, especially down the stretch of his senior year.
Yeah.
But then to know that you have Brooks Davis coming back after an outstanding freshman year, you got a glue guy, leader guy, local guy like Ian Finch, who's been solid and looks like he's primed for a big final year with the Grizz. You brought in some really talented transfers like Legend Lyons from Minnesota. You had another guy waiting in the wings in Corbin Hendricks, who had one of the plays of the year last year when he had that diving catch for a touchdown, but also a guy that maybe was hit and miss in his consistency. To have all that talent and still say, we're going to bring in a dude and have that dude be one of the dudes, I think, first of all, a testament to what Bobby Kennedy saw in Landon Ransom Goals. And also, I think Kennedy probably knows something that we don't. Like, he knew that they needed another guy there, so they needed to solidify that spot. So I think that's an important addition, and I think that Landon Ransom Goals is going to make plays right away. I think he's going to be a guy that Grizz fans are very excited about early on.
LRG, number 2. Mark it in your books, people. You heard it here first. All right, Coulter, let's go over to Montana State. Who's a guy not walking on, but heading to Bozeman for the first time ever that you think is going to be important?
It's interesting. This is you could do a whole segment on the differences between the way the Cats and the Grizz operate in terms of their roster. The Cats only brought in 3 guys that are going to be transfers that are going to play this year. Bruin Fleischman, who's Titan Fleischman's brother, as a tight end from Air Force. Johnny Edwards, who's a cornerback from Arizona. And then Alec Wills, who's a cornerback from Penn. Alec Wills, unfortunately, tore his knee last week, so he's out for the season. But So when I look at who's going to be the guy that maybe people don't know about that's going to make an impact right away at Montana State, you don't go to the transfer route. You have to go from the guys that are coming off of red shirts. And I think there's a quartet of those guys that could be impact players, but I'll give you one because you only asked for one. The Cats have a well-established lineage of great players on their defensive front. Certainly, though, to me, the guy that's going to be the hardest guy to replace is Paul Brott. You got to look beyond the statistics for that. He's a true nose guard. He probably only had 25 tackles and a couple sacks last year. But, I mean, he's 310 pounds, and he was the alpha of that defense, and he made everything go for him.
Yeah.
Talon Marsh, when Paul Brott was out last year, got a bunch of quality reps. I think people that followed the program know about him. He's a former Montana Gatorade Player of the Year out of Helena Capital. It's the other defensive tackle spot that everybody's looking at. Zach Black's played a bunch, so I think he's sort of the incumbent. But I don't think that's going to be the guy. The guy's going to be Josiah Asuega. Josiah Asuega is a kid from Western Washington who put on 40-plus pounds this last offseason. He looks like an absolute FBS defensive tackle. He's up to 6'4", and tell me what he weighs now if you got the roster there in front of you. He's up to over 300 pounds after coming in at about 270. And he looked like one of the best players on the field to me during the spring game.
Yeah.
He is physically formidable. He's got the strength. And if you're watching the first month of the year, I wouldn't be surprised if they still roll Zach Black out there as the starter, as a senior.
Yeah.
But I think that as the season goes along, if you start seeing this guy more and more and more, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that guy's the guy. That guy's the main guy on the interior of the defensive line. I wouldn't be surprised at all as a redshirt freshman. I think he is exceedingly talented, and I think he's going to be a huge impact player at Montana State.
Very good. We'll look for both of those guys, this week, because it's all happening. It is Tootell Nuanez, 102.9 ESPN Radio. We'll take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to get into some of the prep storylines for this year. What should we look for? The AA level, the Glacier Wolfpack, your defending state champions. What are they going to have on tap for a reboot and a defense this season, along with plenty of other storylines from Coulter. And we have a little breaking news in the NFL, which we will get to as well. We'll do that on the other side right after this. Hey, Art and Ray's Lock and Safe. They are the preferred locksmith for local car dealerships, and they should be your choice for anything to do with car keys. They choose OEM refurbished remotes and fobs over aftermarket. Key fobs are expensive and necessary. Art and Ray's, they can fix yours today. Go check them out. Art and Ray's on South Avenue.
family to the Stone of Accord for a wonderful brunch. From traditional comfort food to eclectic specials, there's something for everyone to enjoy. And it wouldn't be a proper Missoula brunch without an Irish coffee and a mimosa. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino. At the Stone of Accord, we use the freshest ingredients to create our homemade traditional Irish classics, fresh salads, and creative specials. Come enjoy our warm, family-friendly atmosphere. The Stone of Accord, Irish fare with Montana flair. Restaurant, liquor store, and casino.
Access to Montana's great backyard is the best part of being a Grizzly. At the University of Montana, our classrooms are the mountain peaks, river valleys, and never-ending plains of the Big Sky Country. We provide students with the hands-on training to protect and enjoy hunting, conservation, and stewardship. launches the careers of outdoor leaders so that they can protect our traditions and ensure they are passed down for future generations. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
Why would any business let you use their product and give you 365 days of reassurance? Mattress Firm does because they believe in their mattresses. Save on top brands like Nectar, Tempur-Pedic, Beautyrest, Serta, Stearns & Foster, and others. Mattress Firm carries $149 mattresses all the way up to the luxury Purple Rejuvenate Premier. 0% in payments as low as $39 a month, along with 365 days of reassurance. See why Mattress Firm is Montana's best place to find the sleep you deserve.
Mattress Firm, where it's easy to get a great night's sleep.
Mountain Town Vacation Rental Management, your local partner for vacation rental success. We provide a fully customized hosting experience tailored to your needs and goals. Your home is listed on every major site, helping you maximize visibility and bookings. And our local team is available 24/7 to handle guest needs and booking inquiries. Let us take the stress out of managing your vacation home. Contact us today at mountaintownvrm.com or give us a call at 406-369-3080.
ESPN Missoula Sports Center.
Ian Mackenzie Olson and Nicholas Balkin came out winners at the 39th Montana State Men's Mid-Amateur and Masters 40 Championships in what was a dramatic finish on the 18th hole for both competitors. Hello, I am Hayden Smith. Coming into day 3 tied for the lead, Mackenzie Olson of Great Falls continued his excellent play with 5 birdies and only 1 bogey to finish the day at 4 under 68, which put him at 12 under overall. The win didn't come easy, however, as Malta's Gordon Webb made a run during his final round, and it all came down to the 18th hole when Webb put himself in position to tie it up, but an eagle putt just slipped out of the hole, giving Mackenzie Olson his first Montana State Championship victory. Webb, a Montana Golf Hall of Famer and former state amateur and mid-amateur champion, notched 8 birdies and 4 bogeys on day 3, putting his final round score at 68 and 11 under overall. The Master 40 came down to the final hole as well. Playing 2 groups ahead of the championship group, Whitefish's Brad Gratton made a run at the title, managing to tie it up after notching 6 birdies and only 2 bogeys for a final day score of 68 to finish 7 under overall. Balkin of Helena went to the 18th hole tied with Gratton and needed a birdie for the victory, but made a clutch eagle putt instead to put him up 2 strokes and giving him the second MSGA championship title after winning state match play in 2025.
This ESPN Missoula Sports Center is presented by Canyon River Golf Club. Tootell Nuanez on 102.9 ESPN Radio for Missoula.
Welcome back. It is Tootell Nuanez on your radios. Episode 1 of a million, 8 to 10 a.m.
Do you ever consider how much or how long it would actually take to do a million?
Well, yeah. Do you have any idea how many days you actually live in a full life? It's like, I don't know.
Is it even a million?
No! Is it a million? A million days? Do you have any idea how big a number a million is?
No, you'd have to live till you're like 400 years old.
We talk to these, you talk about money, and people like, oh, such and such millions of dollars, such and such billions of dollars. Mm-hmm. No one has a concept of what that actually means.
I know. It's funny because I was thinking about this through the lens of football games. How many football games I've covered? Because you hear from some of the veteran media guys, like, I've been working alongside Sean Rainey for close to 20 years now, going to Grizz games. I mean, I know I'm going to see the Rain Man, 5-6 Saturdays a year because there he's going to be watching the Grizzly Stadium. But you get into the hyperbole where I've covered thousands of Grizz games. It's like, no, you haven't. I was actually thinking about it. I haven't even been to 200 Grizz games in my life.
That's correct.
Right? Even as a season ticket holder as a kid, through then having credentials to, I bet you I'm probably right there at about 200, right? But in a given year, you got 6 to 7 regular season home games and then maximum 3 playoff games. Yeah. So the most you're going to go, last year was the most I've ever gone to, I think is 10. The year before, I think there was 10 as well because they played through at home in the playoffs. And, you times that, you'd have to go to every single one of them every single year since the 95 national championship game to even be approaching 250.
Well, we're going to figure out a way to get 1 million episodes done. Let's go. Okay? They're going to be 7 seconds each, and they're all going to be podcasted for you. Yeah. All right. Hey, Coulter, we've been talking all about Grizz and Cats. Let's talk a little high school, shall we? Okay.
Stoked for the high schools.
It's and high school season starts right now too. We're right in it, baby.
Thursday night
ready to rock
is
and
when
roll.
it all gets started.
Week 1 in the high school.
Can I give my quick PSA?
Oh, please.
High school football season opens up on Thursday. There's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday games.
Yeah.
From a fan perspective, being able to go to high school games Thursday, Friday, and Saturday is great. If there's games on Thursdays and Saturdays, it's because there's not enough officials. They have to have the officials. They have to have enough officials in the pool to be able to have games. And to me, I think that the best part of high school football is everybody getting to celebrate the Friday Night Lights pageantry of it all. So if you can officiate, if you can get some time in your life, go be an official. I was going to say volunteer, but it's not even volunteer work. You can make good money to go be an official. But if you are engaged in the game, you know about the game, or you want to learn about the game, you want to get back to high school sports, go become an official with the Montana Officials Association. I'm going to say that all the time, but that's why there's games on Thursdays and Saturdays. We don't have enough refs. We need more refs.
We need more refs, man. And what a great way to be both engaged with the game, get a front row seat to everything that's going on, and make the game what it is. Remember the replacement refs in the NFL about 10, 12 years ago, whatever it was?
You remember because of the Packers-Seahawks game on Monday Night Football.
We're not going to do this here. We're not going to. I was having a great morning, okay, and I'm not going to have you push me off the cliff here, okay? But what I am going to say is the impact for the good, obviously it's totally necessary, but also what you're able to accomplish to facilitate that for the kids, for the fans, for everybody involved. Absolutely fantastic. Do it for the money. I don't care what your motivation is. Don't make a buck.
Well, this is my call to action for young people, because all the people that are in the I shouldn't say all, that's exaggerating, but the vast majority of people that are in the officiating pool are either the guys that have been reffing since I was in high school 20-something years ago, or the guys that started doing it when we first got out of high school. Guess what? We're all 40 now. This was a great thing to do, though, when you were in your 20s, because it's a great way to stay in shape. It's a great way to make some friends. You get to go travel to all these cool little Montana towns. Like, why wouldn't you want to go to St. Ignatius or Charlotte on a Friday 100%. Night, right? It only is going to take you a couple hours. It's just, to me, it's a great way to make extra money, but it's also a great way to get back to our communities.
All right, let's talk about this prep season just for a couple minutes here. We obviously know that at the AA level, it's the Glacier Wolfpack who got it done last year. We've continued to have this theme of teams who almost got it done, made it to a semifinal, made it to the championship, but then lost, coming back then and actually stamping it and winning it. Such was the case for Glacier last year. What are you looking for across the board this season, Cole?
It's our Prep Spotlight, probably presented by Rhino Fireplaces, new friends of ours here at ESPN Radio. Rhino Fireplaces has an expert team that has been masters at installing and repairing fireplaces across Missoula and Western Montana for more than 20 years. Now Rhino Fireplaces expanding to serve Kalispell, Helena, and Great Falls. Whatever fireplace service you need, wherever you are in Montana, you can rely on Rhino Fireplaces to get it done. To me, the number one storyline in AA football is Billings West. Billings West has had as much talent as anybody in the entire state over the last 10 years. Billings West, consider this. There was 6 starters on Montana State's national championship team last year that were from Billings West High School.
It's amazing.
That's amazing to think about that from one high school. Rob Stanton coached every single one of those guys. Rob Stanton was a long-time assistant under Paul Claybo at Billings West forever, and then has been the head coach of Billings West this will be his 11th season. He announced, actually the day after he came off on the show, he was our lead guest for our 15-part high school football interview series that we did on Nuanez Now. And then the next day, he announced that he's taken a job as the head track and field coach at Dickinson State. That's not until after this season, though. So you factor in that Billings West has lost in the state championship game 4 out of the last 8 years. They haven't won one since 2018. They've played for the state championship, though, 4 times in the last 8 years. But they've lost in each of those games. You factor in that with the fact that they lose one of the biggest recruits in the history of the state of Montana in Matt Ludwig, who's now playing at Texas Tech. They lose a 3-year starter in quarterback C.J. Johnson, who's now playing at Rocky Mountain College. But they also return 3 Division I players. Walker Olson and Jack Ryan are going to the Grizz. Lane Humphrey's going to the Bobcats. That seems like a team that should be the massive favorite. But can they get over the top? They've had 2, 3, 4 Division I guys, and they've been very, very good, but they haven't been able to actually win one. Will they want to win one for the Gipper, so to speak, with Rob Stanton on his way out the door? I think that's a really, really entertaining storyline. And then after that in AA, there's all sorts of other contenders, whether it's Bozeman Gallatin or Missoula Big Sky or Kalispell Glacier or a variety. I mean, I think there's probably 8 teams you could rattle off that are right there to be the second favorite in Class AA.
And what about here in the city of Missoula?
So, I think that's the number 2 storyline in AA. Because I think that Missoula Big Sky, with the fact that they made it to the semifinals last year, they took West all the way down to the wire, and they only lost that game by a single touchdown. Great effort by Matt Johnson and the boys. The fact that they return... when was the last time Big Sky had multiple Division I guys coming back for their senior year? Eli Kasberg at quarterback, Quincy King at defensive tackle. If you got the best lineman in the state, which they do, and you got one of the best quarterbacks in the state, which they do, you got a fighting chance.
You're in business.
So a big question mark for the Eagles is one of the biggest strengths of their defense was how, first of all, veteran and also talented their secondary was. The Williams twins, if they were 2 inches taller, would be playing for the Grizz. But a little short in stature, but they're still going to go play for Carroll College. I think they'll be impact players there. Those are your starting corners. You also had one of the most rangy ball-hawking safeties in AA in quarterback Bat, who was also like a state hurdles champion, a great athlete. He is now at Montana Western, and he also had one of the best defensive ends in the state in Adam Guardo, who's now playing at Montana State. So that's guys from 3 tiers of your defense you got to figure out a way to replace. That's a big question mark for Big Sky, but I do think because of Eli Kasberg at quarterback, Quincy King at defensive tackle, that's a great place to start if you're Missoula. If you're Big Sky,
it's cool around the city of Missoula too, because it seems like the football hot potato, so to speak, has slowly worked its way around the city.
Indeed.
Where Sentinel obviously won the state championships with Coach Dane Oliver there, and were the odds-on favorite in the state.
Yes, for a couple of years.
Yep. Hellgate, as we know, went through a decade plus of just
more decades
empty
plus.
Zero, and then got a real team put together and had some really nice seasons in there.
At least with a few wins, right?
Yeah.
Better than the Ophir.
Then Big Sky, who has often been on the outside looking in, but I mean, Coach Matt Johnson, one of the OGs now in across the state, having great success with this football team, and hats off to him for sticking obviously with the team, but also just to have those guys come through and to do what they have now done and be probably the lead dog at this moment in Missoula is great. So it's fun to see that.
Well, and one point I'd make on that, Prep Hot Ticket, probably presented by Rhino Fireplaces. Sometimes, and I'm prone to this too. It's human nature, but also certainly if you're a cynical journalist like me, you get stuck in your head sometimes. But there was this notion when the transfer portal era first started in college football that it was going to completely ruin college sports. There's been some perils, for sure, and it's had a negative influence in a lot of areas. But the notion that the Big Sky Conference was going to become nothing but a minor league and that every great player that ever came through the Big Sky was just going to up and leave, that's happened if you're Portland State or Northern Colorado. It's not happened if you're Montana State, UC Davis, Idaho, because kids have perspective. And they're like, well, I could transfer, to Wyoming or Nevada or Utah State, but it's a hell of a lot better to play in Missoula or Bozeman than it is in those places.
And also it's not a nothing burger from a dollars and cents standpoint. Like, you are going to get some NIL. So
no question. The parallel here with high school sports, though, is there was, when open enrollment started in Missoula, there was sort of this plague of all the good players that were worth a dang from Frenchtown to Clinton saying, well, let's just go to Sentinel.
Let's all play together.
Or let's just go somewhere, right? And I'm not going to name names because that's unfair to the kids, but there was some kids that were supposed to go to Big Sky that went to Sentinel. And good for them. They helped Sentinel win their first state championship since 1964. They went back-to-back. Those were awesome teams, awesome stories. And like I always say, you can talk about recruiting and all this stuff. Jack Johnson won 13 state titles at Great Falls CMR. Not everybody on those CMR teams were living in Great Falls, Montana. All the best players from Power and Dutton and Valier and Conrad and Shelby
and Calgary, Alberta.
I mean, the whole Golden Triangle was driving into Great Falls to play for Jack Johnson because he's the legendary coach in the history of the state of Montana. All aside, there has been sort of this coming out on the other side, like where guys in the FCS have chosen to stay at the premier programs. Same thing in Missoula. Like the group that has been at Big Sky the last couple of years, they decided when they were like in 8th grade, well, no, let's not break this up. Let's go to Big Sky. Let's figure out a way to be the best team in the city and be one of the best teams in the state. And they've done that. Same thing with Sentinel, though. They've also figured out a way to pivot. And like I just, you heard from Dane Oliver on Nuanez Now last week. I was teasing him. I said, Coach, did you ever think you were going to be winning games 7-0, 7-3? Like the beginning part of his career, Dane Oliver's an offensive guy. He's a receiver for the Grizz. Like his first part of his career, he wanted a slick quarterback and a high-flying offense and sophisticated stuff. Well, last couple of years, they just haven't had that guy. They've had more like athletes that can be running quarterbacks. But he's completely changed the identity based on the personnel. And now, I would never would have thought Sentinel would be the team that was winning dogfights 10-7, and they were last year. I mean, the Big Sky Sentinel game was. I mean, would have made the late Gary Eckergen, the old school Big Sky coach, would have made him smile, man.
Yes.
Big Sky won 12-10 at the buzzer on a Cal Marceau field goal, and Coach Eck was just smiling down, being like, "We got the city championship by winning 12-10." So, anyways, the point is that the open enrollment thing has sort of fixed it. I should say fixed itself, but it's remedied itself.
Found an equilibrium
quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I do think now these kids have perspective. Like, it's the same thing with those Hellgate guys that are now going to the Grizz. Like Evan Pyron and Parker Link, they could have easily just driven across town and got to Big Sky or Sentinel. Very easy for them to do that. But instead they stayed at Hellgate, and Hellgate by no means had some sort of landmark season, but they still won a couple games. And they were competitive. And I think that will serve those guys well in their college careers going through those hard times. And I think it's the Missoula is in a good place right now, and a lot better place than it was maybe a handful of years ago.
And the difference between winning a few games and fielding a competitive football team and winning 0 games and being absolutely non-competitive, it's the whole world, man. So absolutely hats off to those guys for being that foundation layer, as it were, at those schools. It's Tootell Nuanez. It's ESPN Radio. We're going to come back. We're going to wrap up our first show back. Coulter, how are we feeling right here?
I'm feeling great.
Feeling okay?
Finished my coffee.
Okay. I feel so weird right now. I'm up earlier than I've been up in 10 years. I drank more coffee than I don't even know. I'm all caffeinated.
Ryan's the only man on this earth with 4 children that still somehow can and does sleep past 9 a.m. It's amazing.
You know where the cereal's at. Leave me alone. Okay? You don't need me down there. You figure it out. I'm just preparing my children for independence. That's it. Hey, we've got a phone number. It's as follows, 406-888-1029. You're going to leave us voicemails. We're going to talk a lot about this, and we're going to invite you to leave us as many voicemails as you can, probably starting tomorrow. We're going to get into it. But if you make it on air, when you get there, it's going to be great for you. Why? Because you're going to get something from our friends at Alpine Touch, okay? It is tailgating season. Don't mess around with imposters. When you're seasoning your tailgate meats and getting ready for football, you want Alpine Touch. That is a fact. Alpine Touch has been a staple of Montana for more than 60 years. You leave us a voicemail, and you will have your opportunity to win a free prize pack from Alpine Touch. You can also shop online. Guarantee it. Don't worry about whether you get selected to go on air. Just get what you need at alpinetouch.com. Alpine Touch, Montana's special spice. NFL breaking news next.
DeMorris Buick GMC is ready to help you safely travel Montana's scenic roads in comfort and style. Stop by DeMorris today and test drive some outstanding SUVs. Right now, take advantage of closeout pricing on the uniquely designed and well-equipped 2024 Buick Encore GX with models starting at $28,895. Don't miss this opportunity. Go to demorris.com to preview our inventory of 2024 Buick Encores and then pay a visit to DeMorris Buick GMC on West Broadway in Missoula, your family-owned hometown dealership for over 60 years.
It's easy to see why Montana is the treasure state. At the University of Montana, we look inside. We see an old truth with fresh eyes, that Montana's greatest treasure is its people. So whatever tomorrow brings, we meet it the only way we know how, with a mind for making. Because what's made in Montana is remaking the world.
If it matters to Missoula, it matters to us. Ryan Tootell and Tootell Nuanez on 102.9 ESPN Radio.
They were asking if you were around, how you was, where you could be found. Told them you were living downtown, driving all the old men crazy.
Welcome back. Tootell Nuanez landing the plane for episode 1, which is soon to be in the books and soon to be in its podcast form, which you can consume on all of your favorite podcasting platforms. Apple, Android, I don't know. All the other ones. Are there other ones?
There's so many.
Okay. Well, wherever you do it, Tootell Nuanez. We're there for you. Coulter wanted to briefly just mention this, okay? NFL. The Cleveland Browns. I'm not going to let the first show go by without talking about my AFC team. The Cleveland Browns.
An unbelievable bit.
The Cleveland Browns have gone full Cleveland Browns this morning and have named Deshaun Watson their starting quarterback.
What are they supposed to do?
Name Shedeur Sanders their starting quarterback.
He's not even good enough to play in the NFL.
Coulter.
Shedeur Sanders is like not in the top.
I'm going to mute your mic because
not even in the top 50 quarterbacks in the world.
You are so good at high school and you are so good at college, and God, you are bad at the NFL.
Shedeur Sanders, the Cleveland Browns have had 47 different starting.
Unforgivable.
Cleveland Browns have had 47 different starting quarterbacks since reigniting their franchise in 1999. Shedeur Sanders is one of the 5 worst.
That's the most asinine take that we've had in the history of this show, going back to 15.
Oh, it's so fun to get your goat.
It's just so stupid. Deshaun Watson's got no business being a starting quarterback in this league. He's got no business being a starting quarterback for the Browns. He just eviscerates the fan base after a preseason game, telling them, "Yeah, I guess I'm playing 17 road games, et cetera, et cetera." The long-suffering Browns fans for whom you've done nothing. This smacks of an owner who came in and wrote a blank check to a guy and goes, "That's who's going out there." Has nothing to do with football. Shedeur Sanders is absolutely the best option for the Cleveland Browns in this season and probably for seasons going forward. You can think otherwise, that's okay, but it ain't Deshaun Watson.
Well, I agree with you on that. Here's the deal, though. If I'm Cleveland, there's a couple teams in the league where if I'm them, and I know tanking is not nearly as prevalent in the NFL as it is in the NBA, but if I'm Cleveland, I actually do go with Shedeur Sanders in the effort to be as bad as possible.
Well,
because I want to get one of the quarterbacks that's coming out next year. Like Dante Moore is better than both these guys, so I would do whatever I could if I'm Cleveland to go get Dante Moore. Here's what the Cleveland Browns are going to do this year, though. They're going to start Deshaun Watson, and they're going to figure out a way to win like 6 or 7 games, and they're not going to get a top 5 pick, and they're going to be stuck with these 2 guys next year too.
Well, the thing is that outside of quarterback, they got a real team. I mean, they definitely do. They've got an outstanding defense. They've got some really good and young up-and-coming skill position players. They do need help on the offensive line, no question about that. And they need a quarterback.
The offensive line's okay, though.
But this ain't the way, and this is why they will be in perpetual purgatory or worse, the Cleveland Browns. Hey, very excited about this. Couple things to announce, okay? First of all, Wednesday, our inaugural Tootell Nuanez morning show ESPN Roundtable at 9 o'clock. Our good friend Jordan Tripp going to be here. Former Grizz linebacker, number 37, former NFL linebacker, and current outstanding color commentator for Grizz football on the Scripps television networks. So looking forward to having him in studio with us to talk Grizz football and whatever else he wants to cover. What do you think? What are the other options that we could talk to Mr. Tripp on?
Just, football. Big Sky Conference football, NFL football, whatever.
Big Sky Screaming Eagle football?
Sure.
Okay, we could cover all that with him. So looking forward to that as well.
Other teases for later on in the week. We will hear from Brett Vigen from Montana State at some point throughout this week. We will also hear from Justin Lampson, Bobcat quarterback. We also will hear from a Grizz player to be named, but I don't know. What do you think? Just completely off the cuff. Who do you think I should try to get this week? It's all up for grabs.
I don't know. Let's find the hardest names we can find. So, Tulia Pupu.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking maybe Brooks Davis.
Brooks Davis, I can say,
just because he's a rising star.
I'd love to have Brooks in here. I'd love to have Peyton Ling in here. I'd love to get the whole group, man.
We're also going to have Delane Fitzgerald from Southern Utah here on the show. We'll also hear from Lance Robinson, the head coach of Utah Tech, as well. So, a ton of fun interviews coming your way.
Coulter, I'm doing a self scout here. Okay, we've been on the air for 2 hours together. We're going to be on the air so much, just glorious.
It's glorious.
Okay, it's taken a little while to try and figure this thing back out. I'm already getting texts screaming at me from higher ups about what state am I living in? Do I know that I'm not in Washington, et cetera, et cetera. It's hard for me. I've been a lot of places. Sometimes I get a little confused, especially at this hour of the morning, which I'm not accustomed to seeing. I'm still easily an hour away from waking up.
This is amazing.
Okay, so the fact that I'm here is like, do you know how afraid I was going to bed last night? I'm like, oh my God. How, like, if I missed the alarm, I set multiple alarms. It's like, if I don't wake up and get in for the first show, but here's what I need from you. Okay, tomorrow, 7:30, no later. Okay,
1 minute earlier than I was here today.
7:15. Could do 7:15, and we could sit down and actually talk about this.
I hate doing that.
I know, and that's a big problem.
I hate doing the show before the show. We'll just do the show.
No, it's called prep. What do you? Why would we put a game plan together? Let's just go play football. Is that what you're telling me? I don't need to set up a blitz or some sort of quarterback rollout package. Just go play.
Well, it's fun. Hanging, fun, kicking it. By the way, thanks to our great podcast sponsors. Tootell Nuanez podcast will be live here in just a little while once Hayden turns it around. But we couldn't do that without Blackfoot Communications, Holloway and Hulling Law, and Rhino Fireplaces. Appreciate all three of those fine people for helping us revive the Tootell Nuanez podcast. We'll still also have the Nuanez Now podcast for you each afternoon as well. And fun Nuanez Now coming up. We'll have my own version of the Montana Football Hour. Full duration of Zach Cruz. We'll also have Samuel Kim, a couple of his thoughts on some of the best players in the Big Sky, and we'll have a full hour of Brooks Nuanez talking all thing North divisions, AFC North, NFC North. That's all coming up at 4 p.m. here this afternoon.
And tomorrow we will dive in more in depth to the specific matchups that both Montana and Montana State have this Saturday, opening up with Southern Utah and Utah Tech, respectively. So looking forward to that. Alethea, my oldest daughter, happy birthday. We'll see you tomorrow at ESPN Radio.
Crush your back-to-school checklist at Bob Ord's. Save up to 30% on select backpacks, sweatshirts, and hoodies. Huge footwear clearance up to 80% off. Plus, take 25% off all other casual and athletic shoes. Plus, 25% off cleats for fall sports. Save